Hey YouTube, so one of the changes in this patch made me reflect on a match from the Deadlock League, which was the tournament that included the whole Spain incident between NA and EU where they FF'd and blah blah blah, but that's not what I'm here to talk about in this video. So the exact change that made me reflect on this match, which happened in the Deadlock League in the patch notes, was the soul sharing change. And what it is basically how it's always been, is before 8 minutes, right, leading up to 8 minutes, if you and another player were in a lane and a minion was worth 100 souls, if you killed the minion and got the orb or whatever, it'd be 100 souls per person, right? And then 8 minutes and beyond, it would be 100 souls divided by 2 per person. So each player used to get the full value from the minion before 8 minutes, and then they would only get 50% each because there's 2 people there and they need to split it. Now, with the current change, how it works is 8 minutes and beyond, 2 players, they still get the full amount from the minion, if that makes sense. So if a minion is worth 100 souls, each player 8 minutes and beyond will get 100 souls, 2 players, people in the lane or whatever. So I believe that this change will fundamentally kind of maybe change in the future how people play Deadlock, how people view Deadlock, how people competitively play Deadlock. I don't really think it'll have much of an impact on solo queue, but it could increase someone's potential to carry in solo queue. And some context you need to know if you're not familiar with MOBAs. This might be a little spoiler to what I'm going to discuss, but in League of Legends and in Dota, right, it's very common for you to funnel your carry. Like in Dota, like I'm not that crazy of a Dota player. I was wrong about something in Dota when I made a video before, but in Dota 2, your position 1, which is your carry, you're going to want to funnel as much farm to them or give them as much farm. In League of Legends, ADC, usually the carry, but, you know, to get nitpicky with League of Legends, ADC is a literal vegetable. You know, there's people that can carry way more than ADC nowadays, but besides the point. So what we need to understand is carry gets the most farm, and carry can do a lot with the most farm. That's kind of the whole idea behind a carry. So what happened in this game was something that really doesn't happen a lot, but the Haze was soul sharing. So we can see the Haze. Obviously, Haze is very buggy right now, but she goes and she clears that wave a little bit, but then she goes to this wave and clears this wave. Everyone's very buggy. Everyone's T-posing right now. This is crazy. So she gets this farm and she goes back. And I'm pretty sure as the game progresses, the Haze just gets way more farm than anyone else. So if we go, we can see that the Haze has 2.5k 3 minutes in, and the highest player on our team is 2.2k. And I believe this snowballs even further. But the main point I want to address is the Haze hits 3k before anybody else does. Okay, so the Haze hit 3k souls before anybody else, and the Haze had more souls. This is super important for the early game of the Deadlock before 8 minutes. It really doesn't apply for after 8 minutes, because if a person like Wraith, who has an extremely crazy 3k power spike, they can implement this soul sharing strategy to hit 3k souls before anybody else and abuse that power spike on the enemy laner, on the dual laner, on whoever, right? So what I think one thing that'll happen with this change is it'll make people think about this more, is I think characters like Wraith that have very crazy 3k power spikes will abuse this strategy, right? As I just said. So that's one thing. And the second thing that I think will happen from this change is I think characters that have potential to carry, like Wraith, Haze, Infernus, Seven, might bounce between waves more, back and forth, during all states of the game in order to maximize their souls. So what you might find later on is carries in the dual lane, like Wraith, Haze, Infernus, right? As I said, they might, you know, do the soul sharing early, even if they don't have a crazy 3k power spike, to just have more souls and have more farm as a carry, okay? And then what you'll see is even after 8 minutes, they might coordinate with their team wave states. You know, let's say I'm a solo laner, be like, hey, my wave is pushing into me 7. When my wave gets to my walker, the biggest amount of farm will be for you there. So make sure you're looking at my wave and let's share this wave together, us two. And you coordinate wave states with your carry in order to maximize your carry's farm. So this isn't something we really haven't seen yet in any kind of competitive play. I don't know if it's viable. I think it could be something that could be very big in the future. And I think if implemented correctly, it could give you and your team and your carry and whatever a severe soul advantage in competitive play. I don't think this is viable in solo queue because everyone has to be on the same page. Everyone has to understand wave state. Everyone has to coordinate with their carry. The carry has to be receptive, communicative, all this good stuff. And that's something you really don't have a lot in solo queue. So I think for at least competitive play, I'm excited to see if this actually happens and becomes a thing. Because, you know, in theory, I think you can just give your carry more farm if they implement soul sharing, if you time the waves. Just like what we saw with soaking, right, before that was changed. I mean, this is kind of like the same exact thing. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, much love, guys. Got a wave management video coming out soon as well. And appreciate all your support. So I'll see you guys in the next one.